welcome to Josie's Cupcakes. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these 3 Easter Bunny cupcakes just in time for Easter. And this goes along with my last video, how to make Easter chicks. These cupcakes together would make the perfect display for your Easter brunch or dinner. To learn how to make these, just keep watching. The first bunny is definitely the easiest to make and a little bit more kid-friendly. It's also fondant free for those of you who don't like fondant. So first you're going to frost your cupcake and dip it into a bowl of coconut, and if you don't like coconut you can skip this step. Just round it out by using the palm of your hand. Here I'm using a jumbo marshmallow, cutting it in half and putting the sticky side down into a dish of pink sprinkles. These are going to be your ears. Now adding a little bit of frosting on the back of the marshmallows, I'm sticking them on to each side of the Easter bunny. To make his little cheeks, I'm just using 2 small marshmallows and placing them on the cupcake. For his eyes, I'm just going to be using candy eyes that I had available, but you can also use frosting to make this. And lastly, for his nose, I'm just adding a pink dab of frosting. And there you have your first bunny. The second bunny is a little more complex, but definitely worth it. Taking your cupcake, you're just going to add on a blob of frosting, and there's no rhyme or reason to this because it's going to be covered in fondant. So now I'm rolling out my fondant. I'm going to be making the ears first. So using a butterfly cutter that I had to create this shape, I'm just cutting out the shape of his 2 ears. And you could freehand this if you don't have the butterfly cookie cutter. So shaping this out a little bit more with my fingers. And you want to do these first to give them some time to dry. So now I'm just using a tool to smooth out the inside of the ear to make it a little bit more 3D. And using a little bit of rose petal dust, I'm just going to add a little bit of pink into the inside of his ears. Rolling out some more fondant, I'm just going to use a circle cutter to cut out a disc to put on top of my cupcake. So here I'm just pressing it down to give it a kind of dome type appearance. Now with more fondant, I'm using a small circle cutter to create his cheeks. And with the same fondant, I'm going to cut out freehand his teeth. And you just want to cut out a rectangle shape. And just add an indent in the middle of this rectangle to create 2 teeth. Now just glue this all together using some water. For his nose, I just used a little pink ball of fondant, and again I'm using that rose petal dust to add a little bit of color to his cheeks. Using a toothpick or a pointy object, I'm just adding a little bit of dots onto the cheeks to look like his whiskers. For his eyes, I again just cut out 2 circles and I'm just shaping them more into an oval shape. Using some blue fondant, I'm just going to do the same process but a little smaller in size. And to add the highlights of his eyes, I'm just going to use 2 pearl sprinkles. Here my hands are a little shaky. I had a little bit too much coffee this day, but I'm just adding some eyelashes on and outlining his eyes a little bit to just give it a little bit more definition. You can skip this step if you'd like. Now to place his ears on, I'm just lifting up that fondant and sticking his ears underneath into the frosting. And I'm just going to turn the cupcake on its side to let them dry. And there's your second Easter Bunny cupcake. For the last cupcake, you're going to start off by frosting a cupcake in green frosting, and I'm just using an open star tip, but you can also use a grass tip to get this appearance. To create his ears, I'm just rolling out a bit of fondant and using a flower cutter to make the basic shape. Again, if you don't have a flower cutter, you can freehand this. Using that circle tool, again, I'm just going to create an indent in the middle of his ear to give it more of a 3D effect. And then I'm going to go in again with the rose petal dust to give it a little bit of color. To attach this to his head, which is just a sphere of fondant, I'm just poking a circle in the top and I'm just going to stick it in there and glue it with a little bit of water. Just shaping the ears a little bit more here. Just using a pink sprinkle for his nose, and then I'm going to use my fondant roller to let his ears rest on as they dry. Just taking a ball of fondant for the bottom half of his body and cutting it in half, and then 2 little sausage pieces for his arm. To attach this to the cupcake to make it look like he's coming out of the grass, I just used a toothpick and attached the bottom half of his body, and then added a little tail to the back side. To finish off the face, I'm just using a little bit of black food coloring gel and just painting that on actually with a toothpick. Using the same toothpick, I'm just going to draw on his mouth. And adding a few little dots for his whiskers and highlights of his eye. Now just stick this onto the toothpick and you finished your cupcake. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope everyone has a happy Easter, and make sure to check out my last video to find out how to make these adorable Easter chick cupcakes. You can go to josiescupcakes.com for more information and more recipes and ideas, and be sure to subscribe because we post new videos weekly. Thanks for watching.